Hey, this is Will at CVT, and today I'm going to walk you through the assembly and install of the hybrid tent. Welcome to the CVT family. Now that you've got your tent, you're going to lay it on the lid, remove the green banding and all the packaging. Then you'll put the annex in the lid of the box to keep it clean and protect it. Next, you're going to need to stand the tent up on its side and open all 8 of the buckles. Open all 8 of the buckles, 4 on each corner, 4 on each side. Then open the flap and you'll see a zipper and a metal hook on the back. Undo the hook and then unzip the zipper to remove the cover. We also recommend you tape down the female side of the buckle to protect it while you're moving the tent around during assembly. Now that you've undone the buckles, pull the corner of the cover up until it's all the way out on 2 sides. And we'll flip the tent over and we'll do the same thing to the other 2 corners. Now that you have the 4 corners of the cover popped up, you need to release the metal clasp and strap on the sides of the tent before you can fold it open to remove all of the contents of the inside. Inside the tent, you'll see the U-bar, 2 cardboard boxes containing your crossbars, the spreader pole, the annex awning poles, the spring rods, the annex bag, 2 shoe bags, a cardboard box with all of your mounting hardware, and a ladder in a ladder bag. Fold the tent back up, put the cover back down. Now we'll start with the assembly of the ladder receiver. Grab your 4 1-inch bolts, 2 ladder receivers, and the pin. Remove the pin by flipping the end of it up and it'll slide right out through the holes. Grab the square-headed 1-inch bolts and preload them into the bracket with the square head down. Now with the included wrench, tap the plastic cap off the end of the rail and slide the square heads into the top of the channel. It's very important they go in the top because this will later work as a support leg for the open tent. Slide it down to approximately 2 inches from the end of each side of the rail and 16 inches apart on center and tighten it down. You can also use the ladder to help you space out the brackets. Now that you've got it in the right place, tighten it down with a 13mm wrench. Now that the ladder's on, we can start on the crossbars. You'll need 2 brackets, 8 bolts, 1 crossbar, and 2 rubber caps for each crossbar set. Take 2 bolts and slide them into the holes on each bracket with the hex head on the back of the bracket. And then put the nylock in the washer on the other side and just finger tighten them down. Now that you got your bolts loaded into your brackets, we're going to use the wrench to tap the end of the cap off of the rail, and we'll slide the hex heads into the channel on the inside of the rail on the roof of the tent. You can space out the brackets however you need to for your setup, but just keep in mind that the crossbars cannot block the ladder when we're folding the tent open. Now that we have our brackets evenly spaced out, we're going to get the 2 crossbar boxes, 8 1-inch bolts, and 4 black rubber caps from the hardware box. Take 4 1-inch bolts for each rail, slide them in hex head into the channel, 2 on each side. Now that you have all 4 bolts in the crossbar, add the rubber cap to each end, and then repeat these steps on the second bar. Now that you've got your rails pre-assembled, we're going back to the tent. Lay the crossbars on the bracket with the bolts down, and we'll slide each bolt into the notches on the top of the bracket. Now get your 13mm wrench, and it's very important that you keep pressure on the bolt while you're tightening it down so that it stays in the notch on the bracket. Repeat this 4 times on each crossbar. Now that the crossbars are on, we can install the ladder. On the ladder pin, move the locking mechanism so it's parallel to the pin, slide it through the bracket and the top of the ladder. It's also a good time to make sure that all 6 of the plastic rail caps have been reinstalled. Now secure the straps and replace the cover. This completes the assembly of the tent. For the next few steps, you'll probably need a friend to help you. Lift the tent and slide it onto your rails so that it's at the center of the vehicle. To mount the tent to the vehicle, you'll need 4 bolts and 2 plates for each rail. The bolts will be 3 inches long and have a square head. Some versions of this tent come with a slider that will slide in a different style channel. If you have this, make sure that the bolt is firmly landed in the channel when you're tightening it down. Slide 3 of the bolts into the channel and then lift the tent with the help of your friend and slide 2 of them inside of the bars. Now get your mounting plate, or a nut and a washer for each bolt. Slide the plate over the ends of the bolts, add the washer and the nut, and finger tighten them. Repeat these steps with the remaining 3 brackets, leaving them finger tight until you've confirmed you're happy with the placement of the tent, and then tighten them down with your 13mm wrench. Tighten the bolts until there's just a little bit of a curve in the plate. Once you've done that on all 4 sides, that completes the install of the tent. To set up the tent, the first thing you need to do is undo the buckles, remove the Velcro, unzip the zipper, and release the pressure with the metal hook. Then pop all 4 corners of the cover up and over the floor. Once you've done all 4 corners, undo the straps on the side opposite the hinge so that the tent can open freely. Now extend the ladder all the way out till every step is locked in place and pull down firmly to use as a lever to open the tent. If you plan to install your annex, this is a good time to slide it into the channel on the bottom of the tent. Use the ladder as a leg to hold it up so the channel is not hidden by the cover. Here's the channel on the bottom of the tent. Locate the nylon wrapped bead on the back of the annex. And slide it into the channel, keeping the weight off of the corners as you slide it through. If you have a Rainier or a Denali, you'll probably need help keeping the weight off the edge of the channel. Now that you've got your annex in, you'll need to pick up the ladder and finish opening the tent. Now you need to break the locks on the steps and slide all the extra steps to the top of the ladder until they're locked in place and create a firm leg to support the open edge of the tent. You'll also need to put it back inside the annex if you plan to zip it on your extended fly later. If you have purchased the extended fly version of the hybrid tent, now is the time to set up the U-bar. I'm going to do this outside of the fly so you can see what it will look like. Normally this bar would support the fly as you install it on the receivers to the left and right side of the door. Under the fly, you'll need to make sure that the U-bar corners land where the 3 seams meet at the corner. Now it's time to install the spreader pole. Locate the small hole above the main door. Put one hand on the tent pole closest to the door to support it as you slide the end of the pole through and firmly press it onto the tent pole until it clicks into place. Now for the U-bar under the fly, unlock the lever at the center of the pole and slide it out. Put one hand on the U-bar to support it and slide the other end of the pole on and firmly push until it locks into place. Then gently push the U-bar away until the fly is taut and lock the lever in the center to hold it secure. Locate the zipper at the open side of the tent. Then proceed to zip around the remaining 3 sides of the extended fly. It's time to do the spring rods. Under each window, there's a slit in the bottom of the tent that behind that is a hole in the floor. Slide the end of the spring rod in the hole and then bend it up slowly till you hook it in the grommet in the window fly. Before you do the spring rods in the rain fly, make sure that the rain fly is securely attached to the 4 buckles in each corner. And then find the 2 slits, insert the spring rod, and hook it on the grommet on the end of the fly. If you don't want to or cannot set up the spring rods, with the hybrid tent you can roll the window flap and secure it with the toggles at the top of each window. Thank you for buying the hybrid tent from CVT. If you have any questions, give us a call or email us at sales@cascadiatents.com, and welcome to the CVT family.